On the day Adrian and I were getting our marriage certificate, he abandoned my mother and me on a remote highway because of a call from his childhood sweetheart. My mother was so furious that her heart suddenly stopped. I cried bitterly, begging him to come back and save my mother, but he coldly hung up the phone. Here we go again, every time I have to leave for something, your mom pretends to have heart pain. Your whole family is so good at pretending. As a result, my mother missed the critical rescue window and passed away. That evening, our mutual friend posted on Facebook with the caption, "Childhood sweethearts are the best." In the photo, Adrian was holding a woman sitting on his lap, her hand resting on his waist, their poses intimate and full of ambiguity. I expressionlessly liked it and commented, "Is this what you call something came up?" The mutual friend mocked, "It was just truth or dare, why can't you take a joke?" Adrian looked indifferent. But when I left without a word, he completely panicked. "Adrian, let's break up." After packing my mother's belongings, I sent him the message with a blank expression. Adrian thought I was just throwing a tantrum and posted our chat history on Facebook. Well, this pettiness, I don't know who she learned it from. Adrian's friends, enjoying the drama, commented below, "Like mother, like daughter, she must have learned it from her bumpkin mom. Just a simp, but she really thinks she's something. Adrian bro, don't forgive her easily this time, show her what family status means." Adrian replied with a smile, "Of course." I smashed the photo frame, blood oozing from between my fingers, and our picture with Adrian shattered instantly. I had been by Adrian's side for a full 6 years, complying with everything, caring for him meticulously. He was a young master from a wealthy family, while my background was ordinary. The luxury watches he liked required me to save for a long time to afford. Even so, as long as I saw him happy, I willingly worked 3 jobs a day, even if my fingers blistered and bled, without complaint. I held him in the highest regard, knowing his health was poor. During the flu season when medicine was scarce, I ignored my own high fever to deliver it to his doorstep. In the end, Adrian took the money I earned through hard work, squandered it recklessly, and secretly invested multiple times in his childhood sweetheart Yara's startup. My mother, for Adrian's sake, emptied our family savings, saying she couldn't let him bear the wedding costs alone and wanted me to marry in style. In the end, on the day we were getting our certificate, Adrian received a call from Yara on the road and left my mother and me on a deserted highway. I tried to grab his wrist, "We haven't gotten the certificate yet." He abruptly pulled away, started the car. "Yara just returned to the country, her startup is tough, she needs me. Be good, I'll be back soon." With red-rimmed eyes, I said, "Adrian, if you dare leave, we won't get married today." Adrian looked at me with utter certainty, "You can't leave me, Luna." His words pinned me in place. My mother, seeing Adrian abandon us for another woman, was so angry she had a heart attack and fainted. With no one around, I anxiously called Adrian, begging him to come back and save her. He coldly hung up. "Here we go again, every time I leave for something, your mom pretends to have heart pain. Your family is so good at pretending." Watching my mother gradually lose vital signs, I cried to the heavens, collapsing in despair. When Adrian and I confirmed our relationship, my mother took out all her savings. "Daughter, we've depended on each other for so many years, my heart disease has burdened you. But this time, Mom wants to help you one last time." Now, she lay in my arms, breathing faintly, her face pale. "Luna, Mom still wants to see you in a wedding dress." She wouldn't see it. That poor old lady ended up as just a handful of ashes. My mother disliked crowds, so I didn't plan a big funeral. During that time, many friends came to pay respects, and I moved the wreaths they sent outside. Bottle after bottle of alcohol went down, as I held her urn in the bedroom, crying in utter sorrow. Piercing laughter from outside penetrated the door. "Adrian bro, what's going on? Putting so many chrysanthemums here, like she's ascending to heaven." I'd say she's as low as her mom, only a loser would do this. Putting chrysanthemums is cursing Adrian bro to die early. "Adrian bro, you were just playing truth or dare, does she have to be like this? This woman is so petty." I'd heard these insults 1,000 times, but every time, Adrian would tacitly approve. He never spoke up for me. Adrian had promised me that this was our only secret base, no one else could come here. But now, he broke our vow, even bringing his cronies inside, with Yara by his side. To him, Yara was the white moonlight in his heart. Since she returned, Adrian's gaze always fell on her. In the early startup phase, I wanted to borrow a few tens of thousands from Adrian for an emergency. I didn't want to always trail behind him, I had the ability to build a better family with him. He disagreed. "You'll be my wife, you don't need to do these things." Then he lavishly spent $1 million to celebrate Yara's birthday. To this, I felt a sour ache in my heart, but he only said, "Yara is my childhood friend, don't overthink it, she won't affect our relationship." Wouldn't affect? Later, one call from Yara could summon him away, leaving me feverish at home all night. He excused it as being too busy at the company. But I knew he wasn't too busy, his heart simply wasn't with me. So, even when my mother had a heart attack, he thought we were pretending. Seeing my disheveled state, Adrian looked down in disgust. "What trick are you playing now?" Yara stepped back in surprise. "Sister Luna? Even if you misunderstand my relationship with Adrian, you can't let yourself look this sloppy, right?" At these words, Adrian's cronies' gazes all fell on me. My mother's death left me sleepless for days, with dark circles under my eyes. Scorn and disdain fell on me like blades. "Luna, you're really going all out to make Adrian change his mind. Adrian bro already messaged you he was coming here. Are you deliberately putting on this heartbroken look to get him back? Don't daydream, simp." Adrian probably didn't know I'd blocked him long ago, I hadn't received any messages. While he partied with others at the bar and posted freely on Facebook, I held my mother's ashes, crying like a child. Had enough? Adrian glanced at me indifferently, as in every past argument, naturally walking to the sofa and sitting down. "If you've had enough, get up and clean this place, we're having a party soon." I suddenly burst out laughing. "Luna, are you crazy? What right does a cheap woman like you have to laugh?" I laughed until tears came out. Adrian frowned, patiently repeating, "Luna, I said I'm having a party here." In Adrian's eyes, my mother and I together couldn't compare to one Yara. Even if my mother had angina, he'd only think she was pretending. The first time my mother met him, he excused himself for company business. Later I learned he was actually picking up Yara at the airport. Time and again, he stabbed knives into my heart, stirring it to bloody shreds. On the certificate day, Yara used the excuse of being plied with drinks by a business manager, but it was just their group playing truth or dare. They wanted to see if Adrian would really abandon me for her. My mother grabbed his hand, hoping he'd get the certificate first. "Adrian, my daughter truly likes you. Our Jiang family has set our sights on you as son-in-law." Unwilling, I said, "Adrian, I need you." But he resolutely pushed away my mother's hand. "You can manage, Luna, Yara can't do without me." The car sped away. While he sat with Yara on his lap, blushing and flirting, my mother gradually lost her vital signs in my arms. I suddenly looked up at Adrian, eyes red-rimmed. "What? You want to have a party in front of my mother's memorial tablet?" Pfft, everyone was stunned, only Yara laughed abruptly, saying apologetically, "Sorry, couldn't hold it in." She was always like this, making herself seem exceptionally sincere and patient with a few words. "Luna, though you misunderstand me and Adrian, isn't it bad to curse your own mother like this?" Yara explained leisurely, "That day, we were playing truth or dare. If I'd known you and Adrian were getting certified, I wouldn't have let him come no matter what." Adrian's companions had long united, standing by Yara. At this moment, no one believed me, just like Adrian didn't believe my mother's heart attack that day. But if Yara hadn't deliberately called him away, my mother wouldn't have been angered into a heart attack. I clenched my fists, eyes bloodshot. Yara warily stepped back. Adrian stepped in front, blocking her. "Had enough? Auntie has always been healthy, isn't it too much to provoke me with this?" From start to finish, he never cared about my mother's condition after that day, not even a word of concern. Before dying, my mother told me to be good with Adrian, but what about him? "Luna, my patience is limited." Adrian thought I'd bow and apologize as before, coaxing him. But he was wrong. I was from a single-parent family. My father left due to an accident when I was 3, and my mother and I depended on each other for over 20 years. In recent years, because of Adrian, I neglected my mother's health, offering my heart to him, but now he had shattered it. Had enough? If so, please leave. My heart had long turned cold. I pushed through the crowd, wanting to take my mother's tablet and urn. Adrian persistently grabbed my wrist, his tone helpless and compromising. "Luna, don't be like this, okay?" His eyes held some disappointment. "You weren't like this before." The unattainable always stirs unrest. Before, I loved Adrian desperately, but he was indifferent. Now that my heart was dead, he clung to me. The wheel turns. I pried open his fingers, creating distance. "Then tell me, what was I like before?" "Your simp? Shameless cheap woman?" I paused. "Or, a prostitute?" Adrian's face paled inch by inch. "Luna." These were the names his cronies called me. Just because I stood by him, I became their pretty boy. Adrian was a wealthy young master. The day we got together, he wanted Sea-brand coffee. I searched countless closed shops, but not wanting to disappoint him, I took the subway, biked, and walked kilometers. To buy his favorite coffee, I braved the Sycamore Avenue despite my allergy to its fluff, face swollen red, carefully handing it to him. He tightened his arms around my waist, gently kissing my lips. "Luna, you're the best person to me in the world." Back then, I thought he was truly moved. I gave willingly and unreservedly. Even if those around Adrian insulted me freely, I didn't care. Naively, I thought as long as I stayed by him, we'd have a happy day eventually. Later, he met my mother. She liked him a lot, often sending soup to his company, fearing he'd skip meals due to work. She instructed me to keep Adrian healthy. He didn't know that Adrian never drank a sip of those soups. I watched from the corner as he poured my mother's hard-made chicken soup down the drain, coldly telling his secretary, "Next time, handle it like this." But my mother said, "Adrian is a young master with picky tastes. Mom won't send chicken soup anymore." Over the years, I've saved some money. If Adrian likes something to eat, take him. Consider it a token from your future mother-in-law. Such a kind and generous old lady became, in Adrian's mouth, a villain pretending heart pain to trick him back for the certificate. The doctor said if we'd arrived a few minutes earlier, she wouldn't have died. It was Adrian who cut off her lifeline. Sourness and pain surged like ocean waves in my heart. Adrian's cronies glared at me discontentedly, rolling their eyes. "Luna, how can you talk like that? Look at yourself, what are you? Calling you low is giving you face." "Shut up." Adrian looked displeased. They exchanged glances. "Oh, I just realized." So he could speak up to stop their insults. Previously, they dared insult me openly because of Adrian's tacit approval. Perhaps, deep down, he always looked down on me. This time, Adrian condescended to explain, "I was inconsiderate before, but it was urgent. We can get the marriage certificate another day, right? Luna, how about this? Next Monday, you pick me up for the Civil Affairs Bureau, and we'll get it." Even explaining to me, he couldn't change his arrogant young master attitude. In the past, I'd bow, turn back, hug his waist, bite his neck. Not next time. But now, my gaze was cold, tone strange. No need. How could the arrogant young master Adrian eat humble pie? This was the first time I called him by such a distant title. Adrian's pupils contracted. He took a tense deep breath, incredulously holding the table edge. "Luna." With a tremor, "You're breaking up over this little thing?" "Little thing? What's a little thing? My mother's death is little?" I was furious inside, veins bulging on my arms from anger, voice low and forceful, each word like thunder's prelude. "What about you, Adrian? Even now, you haven't asked about my mother." Adrian's body stiffened slightly, eyes evasive. "Your mom is healthy, even 2 Adrians together couldn't match her." "Fine, if it's for this, I'll buy some supplements for her later." He adjusted his cuffs, speaking like charity. The others echoed, "Adrian bro is giving you face. Luna, hurry and appreciate it. Those supplements cost tens of thousands." where would your bumpkin mom get such good stuff? My throat choked. Suddenly, I couldn't say anything. Too funny. Even now, Adrian thought my mother coveted his wealth and power. When I took him home to meet her, he came empty-handed. I thought he was just careless. Later, I learned he not only looked down on me but always guarded against her. His cronies slandered her behind our backs. Lies come so easily. Heart disease? How could someone with heart disease live so many years without dying? I bet Luna is eager to cling to the Chin family thigh, deliberately making her mom pretend to be ill to morally kidnap you. Adrian, don't believe her. Adrian believed it. When my mother was alive, he gave those supplements to his cronies. Now that she's dead, he's eager to send them. How ridiculous. I said coldly, no need. Yara suddenly screamed, ah. Adrian instinctively approached her, eyes full of worry. Yara, what's wrong? Yara pointed shocked at the black and white photo on the table, trembling. Adrian, why is Luna's mom's memorial photo here? Could it be? Adrian's eyelid twitched. No way. People always deceive themselves. If Adrian thought carefully, every time my mother saw him, she often had breathing difficulties. Our home had heart medications everywhere. If he thought, he'd know she really had heart disease. Adrian's cronies immediately sneered. Must be Luna making a memorial photo of her mom to win back Adrian's heart. How unlucky. Heavens, using such tactics. Luna, aren't you afraid of divine retribution? Their gazes were like looking at disgusting lice. Even Adrian showed dissatisfaction. Luna, I didn't expect you'd do this. If Auntie knew. I closed my eyes, temples throbbing. She won't know. For the first time, Adrian saw my serious expression. His attitude softened immediately. Luna. I no longer wanted ties with these people, just to leave with my mother's ashes. Since you won't go, I will. Seeing me pick up the urn, Adrian sneered, pretending again? He signaled his cronies, who immediately surrounded me. Yara snatched the urn. Luna, you really don't need to do this. Yara leaned close, whispering, Luna, those chrysanthemums outside might as well be for your mom. After all, she pretends heart pain all day, maybe she'll die one day and use them. I struggled hysterically, rushing over but pinned down. Yara. I'll kill you. Yara yelped. The urn thudded to the ground, white powder scattering. With an apologetic face but words accusing me of acting. Luna, sorry, the milk powder you got spilled, but can't waste it. Feed it to Anna, that way it's put to good use. My blood froze. Anna was Yara's beloved dog. Terrified, I said, what are you doing? Adrian agreed, good idea. Thrift is a Chinese virtue. I pleaded to Adrian, no, Adrian, I beg you. But he was indifferent, sneering. Luna, don't you like acting? Keep acting, I'll watch. My heart turned to ashes. I bit my lip tasting rust. Adrian, you'll regret this. Pfft, acting pretty real. The others laughed, dispelling Adrian's hesitation. Watching Yara add warm water to the ashes, the Doberman tentatively licked the bowl. No. My heart felt gripped by an invisible hand, painful and breathless. I broke free, punching Yara hard, roaring madly, that's my mom's ashes. You beast. I'll kill you. Tears streamed. I pounced on her like a demon, beating her wildly. Until restrained by several people, I still glared bloodshot at the pair. You're crazy, Luna. For a box of milk powder, you attack like that. Adrian jumped, constantly checking Yara's injuries, ignoring me. Eyes red, voice hoarse like sandpaper. Adrian, I really regret loving you. If I'd known loving you would cost my mother, I'd rather never have met you. Adrian paused, wiped blood from Yara's mouth, mocking, Luna, if you keep pretending, I don't mind marrying someone else. Crying, I laughed, glaring resentfully at Adrian, weakly roaring, I hate you, Adrian, I hate you. Adrian lost patience. Luna, no need to pretend anymore. Before he finished, his friend Leon stepped forward with a document, hesitating. Adrian bro, there's a death notice here. Luna's mom seems really deceased. Adrian's pupils trembled. Impossible. He snatched the death notice, flipping it seriously several times. looking hopefully at me. Luna, say it, you're tricking me, right? This notice is fake, isn't it? I forced a bleak smile, if you say so. Leon couldn't help reminding, Adrian bro, this can't be forged, it has the hospital seal, and I just called informed people, they said. What did they say? I watched his expression stiffen, like he'd lost his soul, hands clenched white at his sides. Leon continued, they said the day before yesterday morning, at 9:05, Luna's mom had a sudden heart attack, the place was remote, ambulance to hospital took half an hour, she was long gone. The doctor said if a few minutes earlier, she wouldn't have died. Enough, Adrian reeled as if struck by lightning, retreating, unable to accept reality. At 9:05, what was Adrian doing? He'd just received Yara's call, abandoning my mother and me on the deserted remote road. When my mother endured unbearable angina, he drove off in his Maserati, causing her to miss the best rescue time. Eyes red, he trembled to hold my hand. Luna, I didn't know. In the long silence, I calmly met Adrian's gaze. He shook his head vigorously. But I didn't understand. Before, he ignored us, now she's dead, he feigns affection. Didn't know? I pulled away his hand, showing the mutual friend's Facebook photo. Then what's this? The caption stung, childhood sweethearts are the best. Yes, they've been childhood friends for over 20 years, how could an outsider like me insert into their bond? Adrian, always proud and aloof, was now crying, choking, and shaking his head. No, Luna, I didn't know your mom really had heart disease, if I knew. I didn't want his excuses. I grabbed his wrist, pinning him to the corner. Before, I spoke softly to him, showing only my gentle side, he'd never seen me this furious. When you willingly held Yara for her, letting them snap photos, did you think of my feelings? When you abandoned me and my mom for Yara, did you hesitate even a bit? Adrian stood stunned, at a loss. Sorry Luna. If I'd known, I definitely wouldn't have left you. He repeated, shaking his head. Normally, seeing him grieve, I'd soften and forgive. But now, I only felt disgust. I gripped harder, Adrian panicked to hug me. Luna, let go. Yara pulled my shoulder, no longer feigning calm, eyes full of anxiety. For the first time, Adrian yelled at Yara in front of others, this is between Luna and me, stay out. Yara panicked, Adrian. But this time, he didn't even glance at Yara, get out, Yara still called, Adrian. I said get out, can't you understand? He roared hysterically, eyes red, as if repenting for not saving my mother in time. Yara shrank back her hand, unwillingly leaving with Adrian's friends. I silently held my mother's portrait, desperately controlling my tears. These years, I'd endured much hardship. I'd slept on construction sites, tanned black under the sun, delivered food on e-bike at night, even had accidents. Since Dad's death, I hadn't cried once. But Mother's death made me cry countless times. Adrian sobbed beside me. After a long while, Luna, can you give me another chance? I quietly looked into his beautiful eyes until his fear, unease, tension peaked. Then slowly, why not go ask my mom? My eyes held unmasked malice and hatred. Adrian's face paled, swaying, Luna. You weren't like this before. What was I before? When I looked at him, my eyes were always full of love. I'd thoughtfully prepare 3 meals a day for Adrian, picky, when he tired of flavors and wanted common soy milk, I'd cross 3 streets, yet get no praise. If he said east, I'd never go west. Even when he accidentally soaked my computer with water, I couldn't bear to say a harsh word. The day we got together, he gently held my waist, promising, Luna, we have countless years ahead. But in a blink, Yara returned. On dates, he frequently zoned out, his blue perfume always mixed with jasmine scent. Yara, dejected, posted on Facebook, in love, the unloved is the third wheel. He followed with, I really hope in future years, there's the one I love. I always thought this was Adrian's confession to me. Now I understand, those cryptic posts were their telepathic secrets. Snapping back, I said indifferently, what are you still doing here? Go coax the woman you love. He probably recalled the Facebook post, lips colorless, trembling. Luna, don't be like this, you scare me. My emotions suddenly snapped. I viciously gripped his wrist. Scared? Do you know how painful it was when my mom couldn't breathe? How scared she was on the cold operating table? Why not die and try it? Adrian guiltily opened his mouth, finally flung out the door in pain. Disheveled, choking with red eyes, he reached. Luna, come hug. This was our reconciliation signal. Before, if he said this after wronging, I'd bow and burrow into his arms. Now, I look down. Adrian, your hands stained with life, I find them dirty. His face drained of color. After my mother's funeral, I locked myself in the room for 3 days and nights. During, Adrian persistently came, I avoided him. He tried everything, alternate accounts to add me, long messages, flowers downstairs, the pampered young master even made breakfast. These were tricks I'd used on him. But I didn't read a word of those messages. When he showed his scalded red fingers from making breakfast, Luna, look, for your breakfast, my hands are scalded red. Belated affection is cheaper than grass. This wasn't his first breakfast. I saw his scalded fingers, secretly joyful, but then scrolling phone, saw Yara post the same on Facebook. I couldn't help zooming in, searching for differences. In the bottom right, the woman's hand wore the ring I gave him. I often wondered why a man's heart can split between two. Why Adrian could brazenly wear my ring to make breakfast for another. Just because he relied on my love. But now, I don't love anymore. I casually took the breakfast and threw it in the trash. Garbage belongs in the bin. So do you. His eyes reddened, he hastily lowered his head, letting tears fall, muffling, what must I do for you to forgive me? A week later. Adrian squatted in the corner, hearing the door, rushed up. Luna. His leg numb, he stumbled, reaching to steady me. I abruptly dodged. His hand froze in air, tears swirling. Luna, I promise, I'll never see Yara again, is that okay? Fearing I'd ignore him, Adrian quickly pulled out his household register and ID. Let's get the certificate today, okay? I brought them, this time I absolutely won't abandon you midway. I've calculated, after the certificate, next month, no, mid this month for the wedding, in a few days, I'll take you to customize a wedding dress, how's that? After a while, under Adrian's anxious gaze, I laughed. What I'd dreamed of, certificate and marriage, was so simple now. Adrian never initiated talk of certificate or marriage. Last year, on our 5th anniversary, I, a woman, knelt to propose. Adrian impatiently loosened his tie. What's the rush? I'm young, don't want to enter marriage's grave so early. He rejected me in front of the restaurant crowd, making me gossip fodder, insulted any time by his friends. Hearing this, Adrian panicked. I didn't mean I don't want to marry you, just wait. I shook my head. Adrian, actually, you're the one who likes acting. When I loved you, you didn't cherish, now I don't, you're groveling. A dirty man used by Yara, why think I'd still want you? As expected, Adrian didn't bother me anymore. After drawing boundaries with them, I decided to dive back into my career. In school, the dean regarded me highly. I specialized in computer science, developing many game apps. The then viral game Meme was mine. But Adrian didn't know, he thought I was useless, disapproved of game development. For love, I willingly gave up my passion. But that didn't mean I lacked ability. Upon returning to game development, many old acquaintances offered branches, even Adrian's rival Ethan. The man in tailored suit, broad shoulders, narrow waist, exuding cool aura in every move. Long time no see, Luna. For Adrian, I'd avoided this man, missing wealth opportunities. Now, I realize I missed much. I gripped his hand back, his ears reddened. I didn't expect this A-city business tycoon to have such a side. Ethan quickly steered to game development. He planned full investment in my company, willing to promote my next games. No free lunch, Ethan, you haven't inspected my company, you trust me so? He looked appreciatively. I believe I won't misjudge. Heard you won Global Innovation Tech Award in school, even the principal praised you. Moreover, meh 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 was a sensation. I didn't expect he knew I made meh meh meh. Long unpraised, my confidence surged. With my skill, another hit game was no issue. Since Miss Luna trusts, I naturally won't disappoint. In just 2 months, single-handedly leading the team, I launched the mobile game Spirit Dragon Sect. On launch day, servers hit an astonishing 30 million users. At the celebration banquet, under spotlights, I spoke passionately. Look, Spirit Dragon Sect's developer is Luna. Impossible, heavens. It's really Luna, Adrian, look, why does he look handsomer? Wait, who's beside her? Adrian's friends were there, he followed the flashes, meeting my distant gaze. Meanwhile, my speech hit climax. For today's success, I thank one person, those knowing Adrian thought we hadn't broken up, casting envious looks at him. Must be Adrian. Wow, envy Adrian, hit it well, didn't expect Luna so excellent. Even Adrian tensed, clenching fists. However, I smiled at the man beside me, eyes full of tacit understanding. Thanks to Ethan's discernment, Spirit Dragon Sect was born, achieving this excellence, inseparable from his strong support. Ethan took the mic, tall and elegant, we looked like a match made in heaven. He provocatively glanced at Adrian below, honored to collaborate with Miss Luna, hoped to continue. I wouldn't miss Adrian's shattered expression under the lights. If I wanted, any man could stand beside me. I curled my lip, I thought, Adrian must regret missing standing equal with me. I'd shared game ideas countless times, but he dismissed as nonsense, unwilling to invest even tens of thousands. Before the banquet ended, Adrian cornered me in the restroom. Quite drunk, cheeks flushed, he encircled my waist. Luna, how can there be another man by you? You said you love me most. His voice turned tearful. I coaxed, good, let go first. Adrian obeyed, stepping back pleasingly. I shouted, security. A crazy man in the women's restroom, I suspect pervert. Catch him. Adrian stepped back incredulously, eyes hurt, Luna, I just wanted a hug, how can you do this to me? Soon, someone entered. Seeing the broad shoulders, narrow waist, long legs, I realized wrong. Why Ethan? He suddenly hooked my neck, in my shocked gaze, gave a French deep kiss. Kiss ended, Ethan satisfiedly curled lip, provoking Adrian, your ex-girlfriend tastes good. Adrian crumbled. Mad, he screamed hysterically, irrationally attacking Ethan, Ethan, you beast. You're unworthy of Luna. Ethan no pushover, grabbed Adrian, slammed him down, stabbing words, I'm unworthy? You second-hand goods are worthy? Adrian sat rigidly, tears from pain. Seeing me unmoved, big tears fell, he crawled, grabbing my pant leg, Luna, I was really wrong, I know now, can you not abandon me? Adrian was always superior before me. First time seeing him bow. Surprisingly, I felt some satisfaction. But compared to my mother's death, what was it? Adrian, want my forgiveness? He nodded, eyes hopeful. I smiled, lick my shoes clean, and I'll forgive. Adrian backed off. In intrigue-filled A City, a scandal hit, Adrian and Yara's indecent photos went viral, even the Chin family couldn't suppress. Last night begging forgiveness, this morning in Yara's bed. As expected of Adrian. But surely Yara's scheme, deliberately tipping reporters to snap photos, forcing Adrian to marry her. Yara's plan was clever, she knew wealthy families value face most, even if Adrian's heart was with me now, he couldn't resist Chin's will. On their wedding eve, he messaged, Luna, I'm marrying. Pity, bride not you. I'll place your favorite blue roses at the wedding. I started using your favorite perfume, so it's like the one marrying me is you. Luna, if life loses you, I don't know what's left. I didn't reply a word. But I copied and sent to Yara. Fellow sufferers, I wanted her to taste being cheated on. Before Yara raged, I blocked her first. I paid little attention to their wedding, focusing on new game code. My company grew, later, heard Chin family bankrupt, agents and legal and police. The culprit was Yara. She'd owed huge debts abroad, returned eyeing Chin wealth, deliberately sabotaged my marriage with Adrian to enter. The once star-surrounded young master now in mud, none of his cronies true. Adrian alone, in cheap white t-shirt, no decent accessories, at my company downstairs, seeking to see me. I was no longer old Luna, more beautiful, in haute couture dress, sitting face to face with Adrian. Seeing him penniless, I ordered a cappuccino. He fidgeted with the cup, eyes red. Luna, you've changed. I calmly, people always change. Adrian's lips trembled, sipped coffee, finding his favorite 5 sugars, eyes teared again. Past was my fault, shouldn't have trusted Yara. I killed your mother, sorry. He spoke sincerely, emotionally. Luna, what else can I do for you? I had money, status. I lacked justice. So, I said, ultimately, it's Yara's fault, right? If not her call that day, you wouldn't leave, my mom wouldn't die. He asked, can I have another chance? I continued, but I can't forgive you. Moreover, I had better choices. Adrian was unworthy now. He knew. Adrian covered his mouth, sobbing. I watched his leaving back. The cappuccino was sweet, his favorite brand. But probably, he'd never taste such sweet again. I had such charm, making Adrian willingly avenge for me. Best way to control a man, use his guilt. Adrian didn't disappoint, somehow hiring to kidnap Yara. The germaphobe man killed Anna in front of Yara, gutting it. The bloody scene made Yara vomit in fear. He seemed bloodthirsty, stabbing Yara over a dozen times. Finally, Adrian live-streamed, confessing all his deeds to me. In the end, he looked affectionately at the screen, bidding farewell. Luna, I love you. He closed eyes, one knife ending his life. The farce ended. My heart mixed feelings. Through Adrian's hand, I made them turn on each other, avenging. That night, I told Mother's Grave the good news. Soon, the nationwide shocking live spread. Many netizens nicknamed me Devoted Bro, others sympathized with Mother's death, cursing Yara, and Adrian deserved it. Riding this heat, company went public. I became a city tycoon, bosses seeking cooperation numerous. Even companies wanting marriage alliances countless, but accustomed alone, despite handsome suitors like clouds, pursuers like river carp, I never stopped my steps.